Good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime Coaching. My name is Kevin and I run a business called Business by Design, helping people advance their personal performance. And as you guys know, we are always chatting to wonderful, amazing coaches in and around the world. And today we have the amazing Vumi Msweli, career coach, joining us. So Vumi is a multi-award-winning woman who founded Pan-African Coaching and Consulting from He Said Consulting. Correct? Okay, good. Which is has a presence in Nigeria, Rwanda, Botswana, South Africa, and affiliates in Namibia and Uganda. She's also selected by the Women's Economic Forum as a Woman of Excellence, named South Africa's 34th most influential young person, and the list just goes on. Vumile, welcome to Lunchtime Coaching, and thanks for being here.
Thank you for inviting me, Kevin. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you on. Tell us more about who you are. To give us a bit of background from where you come from, how you created, how you got to this point. I mean, the list of stuff you've done and where you're at is it's amazing. So please tell everyone about you.
So I'm Vumi Msweli. I come from the beautiful, usually very warm city of Durban in the east coast of South Africa. I come from the smallest township, fun fact, in the Southern Hemisphere, Chesterville. We have one main road.
Oh, wow.
So that's where I was born, and that's where my family still currently resides. I spent a better half of my career in banking. So I studied accounting for my sins. I have honors in finance, and then I did my MBA at the University of London. I'm busy with my doctorate at the moment in leadership, and I worked everywhere from F&B to Barclays in the UK. My last job was at Vodafone, where I was the client services partner for Africa. So I ran strategy for them, for Vodafone, a global enterprise. And I always told myself at 30, quit everything and I focus on my passion, which is coaching. So that's what I've been doing. So I started my company in 2012, but I've pretty much spent the last 3-4 years full-time focusing on my business and growing it and helping people accelerate their careers.
That's amazing. That's it's such a full life that you're living. And so part of what the initiative behind Lunchtime Coaching is to really just enable people and share with them some really wonderful tips and tricks and, share useful information, because a lot of people out there don't know what to do currently. They don't know where they're at. They don't know where to turn to. If we could have a bit of lunchtime inspiration and leave people with some wonderful things to think about, that's really the aim of why we do what we do. But in terms of the career coaching that you do, tell us more about that, because I think a lot of the time I speak to some of my coaching clients, there's a lot of confusion happening currently because of COVID. It's a lot of people back in stepping back and going, okay, is this really what I want to be doing? But also because of job losses and people are struggling. People are really struggling out there, and they really don't know where to go or who to turn to right now. So touching on what a career coach is and how is that useful considering the times?
Yeah, so basically a career coach is what I like to call, if you think of any single sport, at some point the whistle goes off and there's a coach. Like we've seen the movies, come on champ, you can do it. That's exactly what I do. But the field I play in is your career. And people always think, oh, career is me working for somebody else. But even as an entrepreneur, that's your chosen career. So it's basically what you do on a day-to-day basis to find remuneration financially and also emotionally. So that arena that you've chosen is your career. My job is to help you take a time out, re-strategize, regroup, and share with you best practices across the globe to help you reach your particular objectives. To score, let's say, right? In South Africa, we've all seen the soccer when they go, La Duma, and someone scores. My job is to make sure that in your life, in your career specifically, you hear that sweet sound. So it's about us sitting together, finding out what are your career objectives, where do you find yourself now, what's that gap, and how can I help you through the best practices with my clients across the globe to actually execute where it is that you're wanting to be and to score that goal.
Well, that's fantastic. So it's almost like having your own personalized coach kick your butt every now and then.
Exactly. We do the drills. It's not fun. You hate me. You swear you're never going to see me again. And yet you come back because we have to get that goal scored.
Yeah, I think when I speak to potential clients that want to do coaching, one of the foremost conversations we have is, I'm not here to listen to sob stories, and I'm like, that's for other people. That's maybe for friends and family, or like some other people. I'm here to get you to take action, to get your brain on board with what it is you're about to do, and to move you forward. That's I love the fact that you say they might even not like you for a moment, but essentially, considering where we're at, so what is the future of work? I know that one of the coaches was speaking about the HR industry, and part of the HR industry is also understanding how we are going to be measuring people, and how do we even set up KPIs for corporates now, because a lot of people have now changed work. They're working from home. How do we measure that? How do we keep track of that? And what is the future of work? What does it look like?
So this for me has been very funny and amusing, because on my Kai FM show, I've been talking about this for almost 2 years, and no one quite believed what I was saying until COVID arrived.
Yeah.
So the biggest future of work right now, and the trends that we're seeing, is what we call the gig economy. So the gig economy is where, similar to a DJ who has a gig or freelancer, you are actually being paid for what it is that you do for a specific period. So the concept of you are going to be at a work indefinitely as a full-time employee is long gone. So your ability to start seeing and viewing yourself as a product per se, that someone has to buy, so your intellectual property, your experience, etc., that's where the future of work is going. And I've been saying for a while that the reality is you're no longer competing next to the South African next to you, or next to the Nigerian next to you. You're not competing with the world. So if you are not an expert in what it is that you do, you're going to find yourself very hungry. So the ability to market, to understand your clientele, because it's no longer your boss or your employer, it's now your clientele, will actually position you for this gig economy we find ourselves. So the gig economy is definitely the future of work. We've been seeing it in countries like Germany for a long time, where the likes of Vodafone don't have all their so-called employees in the office. There was a fun fact that if they were in the office, the building will collapse because there are too many of them. So the concept is you work from home and you work effectively. And I think from an African perspective, there's the notion that you are not productive of work is fast diminishing, because what we're finding is that people actually improve their productivity by 16 to 24% from working from home, because now the official working hours no longer exist.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you're mentioning it, and you come from an expert point of view, because what I also believe is, sitting in traffic diminishes your mood. When I'm sitting in traffic and I'm sitting there for 2 hours driving to a client, and I get there and I'm just frustrated, and then my productivity slumps. The moment I get online and I'm active and I'm doing what I'm doing and doing sessions, lunchtime sessions like these, my day is really, really productive. And, I don't know, I speak for my industry and for what I do, but COVID has really done me a favor, because it's kicked me into gear of going, okay, how do I do what I do and get it out online and get into people's faces? And one of the things I do want to touch on, and I'm sure you also have an opinion about this, is the, wow, it's just left my brain. But I'm sure it will come back. So one of the questions that I do want to ask is, how do we drive? How today, especially in a gig economy, how do I drive my career destination? What is it, and how do I do it?
So that's very, very important, right? So in driving your career destination, you need to know where you're going. So the most popular terminology I hear from my clients is "help, I hate my job." Right? So that's exactly what I speak about even in my TED Talk, is help, I hate my job. And the reason you hate your job is because it's not what you planned. If you're planning a holiday, you're going to head to Cape Town, you're heading to Brazil, you're going to be in Rio, this is what's going to happen. But what a lot of people do is they allow their careers to happen to them. So a lot of people are, oh, that's the job I got, so thank goodness for that. I'm finally in one of the Johannesburg stock exchange listed company or a big corporate, and I finally got the job. And your opportunities arise throughout your career. Very rarely have people designed their career to say, this is the career experience I would like. This is what I would like exposure to. These are the countries I'd like to work in. You just sort of almost jump and hope that something will catch you. And then you wake up one day and you're like, I hate this. Of course you hate it, because it's not what you designed. So by taking accountability, which I think COVID is really pushing a lot of us, is to go from that help, I hate my job, to, oh my goodness, I love my job and I designed it. My apologies, everybody. I suppose this is the new normal. Murphy's Law, when the electricity goes off, the Wi-Fi goes off, and your phone is confused as to how it even begins to work without that, right?
Yeah, so you were telling us about the career destination and why it's so important to connect to what it is you want to do and design what your career really looks like.
Yes. So, you know, we say, I think in Zulu we say, Lewis Carroll said it as well. He said, if you don't know where you're going, any road is going to take you there. So that's exactly the case that happens if you are not designing your career. And for me, that's one of the reasons I became a career coach, right? It's the frustration of, how do you spend the most amount of time in a place that you didn't even think about going? So designing that career allows you to actually enjoy the journey and enjoy the destination.
Yeah, I'm so on. I hear exactly what you're saying. You know, a part of my process is really understanding what you value in life. You know, because a lot of times people find themselves doing stuff, and none of their values meet up with who they are and who they're becoming and where they fit into the world, and they have this constant frustration and resistance that they feel. And it's purely not based on the fact that you know, part of who you are and your value system is not supporting what you want to be in the world. But you know, you mentioned the gig. It's really interesting to me, and I really believe in it. The gig economy. Do you think it's time that we start looking at all of us starting to actually become entrepreneurs? And that's the one. And then from that, do you think it's a case of now leading into collaboration and having smaller teams of working in silos more than just having this usual corporate structure?
So from my perspective, I don't think everyone is cut up to be an entrepreneur. Yeah. So that's why I like the concept of entrepreneur, where you can have a fantastic entrepreneurial spirit within an organization and the benefits that comes with, right? The structure, the resources, the access, the respect of brand that gives you. So I think an entrepreneurial spirit is going to be required for any business to survive, specifically in these times. So I'm not saying quit your job and start your own business next week. I am saying, if this was your business that you own within corporate, how would you behave? Because in essence, it is your business. That's why you get remunerated for it. So how can you start positioning yourself a lot more strategically? And then if we're looking at how do we start growing in that space, it's how you'd network, it's how you'd market, etc. Your ability to position yourself is completely critical in this market. And with regards to collaboration, for me, collaboration is the future. So even within my own business, even when we got into countries like Rwanda, we didn't start from scratch. We found business partners who were doing fantastic work, but what they were missing was some of our offering, which is enriching to their clients. So we set up a memorandum of understanding, and we collaborate very, very well in the rest of the continent. Same thing in Botswana, even in South Africa. So I'm a career coach, and I've partnered with Msweli, who's a personal transformation coach. Because my biggest frustration is I would get people to where they said they wanted to go, which was in essence just the next promotion, because they thought that would make them happy. But I didn't know how to deal with that frustration and lack of self-alignment from a psychological perspective. And I realized they need a personal transformation coach. So we partnered to create Thrive 360. So as I'm going in to help you thrive in your career, she's helping you thrive in your personal life. So collaboration is key. And it's not just for entrepreneurs. It's also for entrepreneurs and people within corporate. And I think some of the organizations I've worked with, like I ran client services for F&B for a while. That was the culture. And then we can't be surprised when they are the #1 most innovative bank in the world, because the culture is how are you having conversations, collaborating, and thinking about the objective throughout everything that you do. So even in recreating how our corporate clients engage with us, I'd have to sit with engineers, software developers, and say, this is my big idea. What do you guys think? What technology do I need to make that happen? And that wasn't what I was paid to do. But being able to be innovative and creative in that platform allowed for disruption in our particular industry. And if you're not disrupting and being untrained and working with what your consumers need, you become the dodo.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, I one of the things you mentioned is, you know, even those who find themselves in a corporate setting, very often through all the training that I've done, and I've done lots of training with the banks as well. And what I've realized is a lot of the time people have this disconnection between the brand that I hold as a person within a corporate and the brand itself. And you know, just what is your opinion from that perspective? Because for me, listening to what you're saying, it's so important for me, even if I'm working for a company, even if I'm working within a big corporate, that I'm still a brand, that how I show up, how I engage, how do I become innovative even within that space, and how important that is, because that's really, you know, invigorating my career as well.
No, definitely. So you must remember, and I always like to call it the Beyonce, right? There are certain people in any organization who we use and refer to as one name. So if I talk banking and if I say Sizwe, people will think Masana. I say Jacques, they'll say Siliers. I say Maria, they know Remas. They've been able to create brands where no matter what it is that they're doing, their reputation precedes them. So the alignment with the brand with which you work for is important, one for self and also for growth and for alignment and being able to go to bed at night. But also your brand, and I always say this, you are the CEO of your career. And if you're not actively driving your particular brand, you'll be thrown by the wayside. And the concept that, oh, I just work at a particular place, you will get your next potential job based on that brand association. So it's critical. And if you don't believe me, ask the guys who used to work for Enron. How are they doing in finding employment now? So it's very, very important that our own personal brands are reflected back in how we impact the brand with which we work. And you are a brand, even if you want to admit it or not, because people buy from people and people engage with people, and your reputation precedes you. I can't tell you the number of messages and calls I get from friends, former colleagues, clients who say, Vumi, do you know so-and-so? We're interviewing them. What are your thoughts? And if I'm about to put my brand out there and vouch for you, we need to say that you really are worth vouching for. So it's a very important thing for you to remember. The brand you work for and your personal brand must align, but you are a brand all on your own.
Fantastic.
And you know you're a very bad brand. Sorry, Kevin. And you know you're a very bad brand if your brand can't get you a job. Because if people say, oh, Vumi, that should suffice. That's how you know you're getting headhunted. That's how you know you've gotten that job security, even in COVID.
Yeah, you know, and you know, I always one of the questions that keep coming up is like, so what am I doing as a brand? What am I doing that no one else is doing? And that's a question I think a lot of people need to start asking, because it as much as COVID has affected us in a big way, it also has brought a whole bunch of self-awareness of who am I on the planet, and how am I going to be doing this in this environment. If I'm never going to go back to an office ever again, then who will I become, and how will I actually be in the world? So it's asking difficult questions, but it's also forcing people to really get uncomfortable and get themselves in that uncomfort zone. But Vumi, we're going to be speaking like this for hours, I'm sure. But because it's lunchtime coaching, we only have half an hour really. How can people get hold of you? I know you mentioned your radio show, but tell us where people can get hold of you and hear more. And I know you're giving away something, so tell us about that too.
Yes. So you can get a hold of me on all the social media streets, so that conversation can continue there. My name is Vumi, Vumi, Msweli, Msweli, Vum Vum like a car, Vumi, Msweli, or Vumile. So you'll find me on Instagram, on LinkedIn, as well as Facebook. But also beyond that, I'm giving away a ebook called Thriving. So 5 critical insights to help you thrive in your career. And you can get that at www.thrive, 360, the numbers, coaching.com. So www.thrive360coaching.com. And it's a fantastic ebook that can really help you position yourself right now in the middle of COVID.
Yay, fantastic. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for joining us for Lunchtime Coaching. I'm going to leave you with one of the quotes that I think is quite apt. Your limitation is only in as much as your imagination allows. So go and check it out, guys. This is going to be on all the social medias, and please go and check out the free ebook. I think I'm going to go and check it out myself.
Yes, and if you can't find me, make sure to check out my TED Talk, Help, I Hate My Job.
There we go. Fantastic. Vumi, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for spending this half an hour with us and giving such wonderful advice. It's been so much fun. And I'm definitely, you know, maybe in a month's time, we're going to have you back and you can tell us, give us some more advice on some more stuff. But thank you. Thank you for joining us, and I'll see you online.
Thank you so much, everybody. Stay safe. We'll see you online. Ngiyabonga.